What's happening, people? Welcome to Music Monday. Music Monday it is, and we are moving on to the Wait album, our second album. And the first track on deck is a killer tune I wrote called Flight of the Lorax. So let's dive in. What is this one about? Well, the name, first of all, it comes from the Dr. Seuss children's book, The Lorax, which really was more of an environmental spin on that about consumerism and man's destruction of the environment, materialism, corporate greed, all that stuff. And basically saying when he had that little rock thing at the end of it said unless, he showed up the guy's door and he's like, look, unless you face this and fix this, it's not going to get any better. So I'm using the Lorax in this song really as the messenger to say, hey man, you've got to learn to live with what you can't rise above, and only you're going to be able to fix it. And if you don't, it's not going to get any better. So that's kind of how that ties together. The verses dive into some more serious themes. First verse is more about relationship disasters that you have to face. Second verse is powerful because I was talking about the child abuse and the pedophilia that was running rampant in the Boy Scout camps of America. I was back when I wrote all this in youth camps and groups, and even into the Catholic Church, which Sinead O'Connor had made those accusations to the church about that. Remember, she just got crucified in the press and the media for it, and turned out it was all of it was going on. She just kind of brought it up. And then we had that chorus tying this thing in. I want to get to this because the original chorus I had written, I didn't really like. I didn't think it tied all these concepts together. So Jim Bickerstaff, while we were in the studio, Jim was the engineer on the Wade record. He worked for Johnny down there. He said, let's rewrite that. So I think Bickerstaff wrote most of this chorus. He did. I might have chimed in a word here and there, but Jim came up with the bulk of it, and then I went back in there and re-sang it. And now the chorus really kind of tied the whole thing together. You know, you got the whole world out there hanging in the balance, and so ironically, that's kind of where we are again right now. While you're searching for the way you think it ought to be, you know, we all have this preconceived conception of how we want things to be, but, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it is. That's just the way you see it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it is. Ain't no time for soul searching, brother. You can't sit on the sidelines and not do anything or try to make sense of it, because you got to take a deep breath of the way it is. You're either going to get run over by it, left behind, or it's going to eat you alive. So it's a powerful tune. Lyrically, it's just, we love playing it. It's a rocker, man. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I left out in it. That's the bridge part's cool. You know, that get back to that Lorax thing about climbing up a tree that ain't finished growing. Now that does tie back to the environmental tint on it. I got to keep reaching. Time is surely wasting. Like we always have this ambition to climb more. We need more. We got to get higher up the ladder. You're never too tall. I love this line. You're never too tall to take a hell of a fall from all those high places. Like sometimes when you get there, it's not what you thought it was going to be. All right. So if you never heard this song, take a listen to it. It's a lot packed into it. It's a kind of a southern rock jam tune. We love playing it, man. The intro, guitar players will tell you it's in standard tuning, but that intro is in 6/8 time signature. That so you're going up and playing an A minor at your bar on the 5th fret. And this one's got a lot of turns in it, man, a lot of chords. So if you want to learn these songs, join my Patreon membership and I'll show you. But it's in A minor, and the C up to the D, and then up to that Hendrix E. So that's what we got. You know, one of the few standard tuning guitar songs I've written. Now, there were more of them on the earlier records before I started playing more drop D and other stuff. But fun to play. It's a rocker. And that's what we got in the skillet for Music Monday. A fantastical tune and a very, you know, relevant tune, lyrically, poetically, called Flight of the Lorax. And as Paul Harvey would say, now you know the rest of the story. You certainly do.